So for today's video, I got an everyday driver winter car, 92 Geo Metro convertible, which of course is getting eaten by the rust monster terrible. And on one of the coldest days of the year, I went out to use the car, and that door handle snapped right off in my hand and left just the housing behind. So I was temporarily locked out. Let's see if we can replace that. So just to give you a little background on how this thing, what's missing, this part is missing that activates the rods inside. That part is missing off of that one. The lock cylinder is still there and everything else. So looks like we're going to be looking for one rod. We got a clip here to take out the old lock cylinder, and there's two bolts that go into the back of this. So let's do some excavating inside. I will leave a Amazon link to the parts I'm using here today. There was cheaper ones, I think, but something about the way they were built, the way in the pictures, the other ones were different, and this one looked to be a better, much higher quality. These are just reproductions. These OEM parts are long past their availability. But this one just looked like a better animal to me, so that's why I paid a little bit extra, just a few dollars. They're really quite inexpensive. So here's the plan, and we'll see how we deviate from that as we go, as we excavate. But on most old cars, there's going to be something like these caps are quite obvious, but sometimes they're a little more hidden. There's going to be something that when you pull this, it's attached to the door solidly. They won't make the door panel do the work. The rest of the card, or whatever they want to call this part, the interior trim, they won't make that do the work. They'll put the handle right into the structure of the door so you can pull it nice. And then the window handle usually has a clip on it. So we just got to figure out what gets this door off. Most of them are the same. They have a bunch of Christmas tree clips that just push in. So we'll start with the hardware first and then go for the clips second, or afterwards. And if you want to be super careful with your plastic, because plastic on cars gets old and it's cold right now, and you could use something plastic to pry with. I'm not so concerned about a few little booger marks, apprentice marks, whatever you want to call them. These are just kind of shaped so they hold themselves once they go in that rubber. And I believe the bottom two are the same. The top one is angled just a hair for that one. Let's see what else is in here. Not sure. Looks like there's another one up here. Mine just went flying. My screw is already out of here. You might have yours still in there, hopefully. I don't think this piece really has to come off, but it was seeming to hide my screw, if there is a screw. No, there's no screw there. I have no idea what that top one is. I guess that's not necessary to take off, but we've already done it, so whatever. Okay, and on these door handles, these I think are the GM style, even though this car is actually made by Suzuki. Whereas there's a shaft coming out the door. This is the window crank, obviously. That needs a turn. And there's usually a hole on the back of this thing. And you slide that on there, and then the clip goes in. So installing it is as easy as putting the clip on it and then just banging it in there. Well, getting it out, not so easy, because it's usually a pretty flat angle to get down there. There is a little tool that can grab them and push them off. Mine's probably buried because I haven't used it in probably years, so I'm just going to try to get the clip off however I can by pushing, pulling, prying, whatever it takes. Try to rescue that clip And then we'll also watch the way this is clocked. You don't want this, so your, let's say your knee, you wouldn't want this maybe facing backwards when it's all the way up. You'd want it like it is, facing away from the occupant, keeping it out of your face while you're driving. So I'm just going to try prying a little bit here, a couple different ways, and see if I can even feel anything. I just have to knock that clip off. The proper tool would really be the cat's meow, because it's dead flat. I'll just play with this a little while and I'll bring you back, because I don't have the proper tool. Okay, it wasn't too bad. So here's the collar I was talking about, and this clip, all it does is it goes in there like that. So all you need to do is try to get a hold of it and push it off there, and of course it goes flying every time. On things like that last part, because I'm not using the proper tools, I don't need to demonstrate the hackery. Now I've got a number 3 Phillips, just on any kind of driver you got. That one was a little loose, I think. There we go. We got our handle. Now, to get these clips out, all you're really doing is pulling, but sometimes this tool here is a lifesaver. It prevents the car from getting scratched if you're in the market for carrying. Also, it just makes a nice prying motion straight out, so maybe you won't tear the door panel because it's pulling right on the clip. You kind of just stick it back in there and you try to find where that clip is at. Let me get you in the frame here. You kind of see where it's holding up, and you pop it. There's one there. Just go along and pop it. And that's about all mine had. Maybe one more over here it had. Let's see. Maybe one more here. Yep. And then it usually is just kind of hanging, most of these. This part goes down in. So I'm going to come up. But first, this one. Let me figure that one out first before I pull the panel. Looks to me like this is separate than the piece inside. And it's actually already broken. Wasn't me, folks. Not this time. Give it a little gentle persuasion. Maybe one more clip somewhere. There it goes. This clips onto that. And there's a little gasket there. So yeah, these pieces are clipping onto the inside. That's all it's holding it. Good. Now, move you guys out of the way a little bit. Up and out. There we go. So on this one, I have plastic covering over as like a vapor barrier, I guess, so that panel doesn't get wet. And all we got to do is The window probably has to be all the way up to access the hardware, and then we'll pull that back. I'm going to see if that window's all the way up. No, it came down on me. That's why I can't see the bolts. Alright, I'm going to get you guys lowered down on the tripod a little bit here, and you'll be able to see what I'm dealing with. Okay, I'm going to get you zoomed up here. We got that bolt is one of the big ones. That bolt. And there's a yellow clip in there. We got to get that off. The way you get those yellow clips off is there's a rod, and then the rod goes through this little yellow clip, and the clip goes down on it. We just got to pop it up a little bit. Alright, I got you zoomed way in there. I'm going to try to get my hand beside this without shaking everything to death. And I'm going to go up with that yellow clip that needs to come off for the door actuator, or for the lock actuator. There it goes. Now the rod will pull straight back. 2 bolts and we should have this out. Alright. I just got a long extension on here just because that's the way I roll. Get this door against something where it stops. There we go. That's the one. Didn't even drop it. Let's see what we got. Is she loose? Oh yeah, that rod came all the way out. I'll show you when I get you out here. If I can get it out. Oh, I got 2. One is for unlocking. The other is for the actuator bar. Okay, give me a minute. I was under the impression the unlocker just made this thing activate or not activate, but that's not the case. So again, we got one of these U-clips. I'm just going to push it down. We're opening it up, and it's going to allow this thing to slide off the side. And actually, let me get this in a way that I can repeat it when I put the other one back on. And I'm just going to pry a little bit in here. Woo, almost got the fingy. Maybe that whole thing goes with the clip and all. Yep. Alright, there we go. And I'm going to leave that right there because that's on a thread and it's obviously adjustable. We don't want to make any changes. So here's what happened to my other one. The piece must have come out of there and it broke when it came off sideways. This thing had walked all the way out. It was supposed to be all the way through there. Boy, that's pretty poor. So just a couple quick notes. So I mentioned that the spring was different. Like this spring is a larger diameter. That one's smaller. This rod has a retaining washer on it. The old one didn't. Things like that. If you pay another $1 or $2, you might get a better machine. The only thing I see, well, of course this has the piece because that's the front of the handle coming through. I'm going to have to take out the plastic one here and put that plastic one on. And then of course we're going to swap over the lock. Okay, I got the piece of plastic out of there. Now I got to swap this one over. Squeeze it in a little bit. It's kind of hard to squeeze and push at the same time, but that's what it takes. I'll do it off camera, I'll bring you back. There's no perfect procedure, it's just a matter of squeezing those tabs together and pulling it back. And when you get it, just put it right back onto the new one so you don't lose your footing on which one and which side and orientation. This has got a E-clip, I guess you'd call it. Let's take that off. Pull that straight up. Now we'll get our locking ring that holds the cylinder in. This is similar to the one on the window. I don't know that they have to come all the way out. Yeah, maybe it does. Wow. This one's fighting me a little bit. There we go. Now it should push through. Or not. So no matter how hard you push, it's not going to go through because it pulls up and backwards. And again, the clip can probably stay in there and it'll probably go around it. There it goes. Got one side for sure. Make sure that's all the way down. There it goes. We saw it snap back down in. We're good there. Let's transfer over the body gasket. Just makes a little seal against it in the paint. And it looks like at one time these... Oh, it's got one on there already. That's why. I was going to say... Oh, never mind. New gasket has already been applied. You do not need to transfer over your old gasket. I was wondering, because it looks like there's pins and that pushes down on it, and I was wondering how I was going to get that over. Well, because it's already on there. So, fun day for me. Put this lever back on. If I could pick up that little thing. That is going in a little groove. And you just got to slide it over till it snaps over. Just trying not to make it go flinging because I'm outside here and I'll never find it on the ground. That is not in its groove. There we go. I think we just got her. Nope, not all the way yet. I'm going to take it off. I'm going to put it on in a different orientation. I think something's blocking it. Shouldn't be that difficult. There we go. Now it's all the way on. I don't want that falling off because it won't. The key won't do anything if it did fall off. Good. Alright, let's get this hooked back in now. Snap it straight in and put the horseshoe thing over the rod. Now I'm going to push down on that rod. Down is opening it to get this thing to fit. And I missed that piece. Come back a little bit. Wow, it just barely fits in there when the rod is where it's supposed to be, huh? We're right on the edge here. There we go. Nice. Now before I go and hook up the other rod, I'm going to put the bolts on it. Got the bolts started by hand. No sense going stupid tight. All you're doing is compressing that body gasket a little bit on the outside. Let's make sure it's all level all the way around. Looks good. Activates. Now, for that other rod, which luckily didn't go far, I'm going to move the yellow thing up and out of the way. Hopefully it'll stay. And a little screwdriver action would be good. Can't quite get my fat fingers in there. And I'm just grabbing that rod from the bottom. Straight in. Yes, it will. Push that rod all the way into the plastic. And then a little U-shaped clip that I love to talk about will come back down. If I could get in there. And I'm going to do it by hand because I don't want to break it. And now we can see the rod is in there. We can see the yellow thing. Get you a good shot there. The yellow thing snaps down over the rod. Let's check for functionality. Locked, unlocked, and unlatch. That's all she's got to do, folks. Now to show you the reinstallation of everything. Pretty much the same idea. We're going to hang the door trim on that top of ridge, and then all these holes should line up, one each, with these. If I didn't show those originally, that's what we're taking out. There's different types. These ones are just reusable, I guess you'd say. Some of them are shaped like a Christmas tree, and they're kind of made to break off, so you can just replace those. These ones here are just keyed. Whoop, lost you there. You just put a new one in there like that. Sorry, missed the shot again. Put it in there like that. So let's see if we can get this thing to line back up. Get it started on there, maybe. Still didn't get it. Can't get this part back far enough to get over that ledge yet. Fighting me a little bit. There it goes. There it goes. Suddenly she just goes. And then what I'm doing is I'm looking in the side of the door here, and I'm looking for where one of these are at. Now here it still has to come down some, so I didn't get it all the way in. This top ridge is really fighting me. Might be easier with the window down at this point. There we go. And then I'm just looking through the gap here to see where one wants to line up. Looking down here for the next one, and they're lining up perfectly. I'm just giving them a little tap. You could do a rubber mallet, whatever you think is the right amount of force. And there's obviously one of them has fallen out or more. So I'm going to try to reach around the back there. I had one of them drop out because these things are super old. Sorry about all the moving the camera, but trying to get you the shot here. I think I've got it in one of the holes. Well, it's not the best, but it is what it is. Okay, let's put this car back together. My car doesn't have to be perfect to make a video here. Good. This one, here, I'll do up here. Just like foam rubber there. Cheesy. Which way does this go? Like this. Again, I only took that off because I thought there was a screw back here, but there isn't. So this, I'm just going to put it on a little bit, make sure that window's all the way up. We're going to put the little hardware piece. The clip is in there right now. So as I push in there, it'll open up and then snap into where the groove is there. So again, clocking it, we could turn it whichever way we want. We're going to clock it away from us. And that's literally all it takes. And then just a matter of the handle assembly. Let me get some tools. I'm missing one of the screws. What do I do with it? I'll find that in a minute. Let me start with the top one. Give us something to hang it off of. What if I told you I haven't left a 25 square foot area and I can't find that screw? Well, anyway, so again, the one with the angle will go here. Oh yeah, this one does have an angle too. I don't know what the proper angle is. Oh, actually, it's got a key. Got a little keyway there, so that is the proper angle, straight up and down. Yep. And then the other one, when I do find that, if I ever find that screw, I'll put that in, and that is how we make a door handle, outside door handle, Wildwood certified. Thanks for watching. Bonus footage. Again, I guess there is a keyway on those. Straight up and down is where the key goes. Yippee!